So greetings guys, we are the Group 2 and today we will determine the procedures of activating ECDIS display information, safety depth, and overlays. ECDIS demonstration, so procedures of activating ECDIS display information, safety depth, and overlays. So now in this picture, head over to task list. So this part we can see all the information about how to use and how it works or how it functions. So next is select chart. So there are two types of electronic chart that ECDIS display. So these are the RNCs or raster navigational chart, and the other one is ENC, which is electronic navigational chart.
I am the Cadet Kuntapay. I am tackle about navigating ECDIS display information. So in navigating ECDIS and display information, we have a display category, the custom, the spot sounding to and the isolated dangers, colors, pipelines, names, and other information. So we have a button of show all and hide all, and also the scale bar, grid lines and chart, boundaries, and text. And then the base, we have a display base permanently retained on the ECDIS display, consisting of the one is constant high water, open ships, and safety concord to be selected by the mariner. Indications of isolated underwater diagrams at depths of the less than safety concord which lie within safe waters defined by the safety concord. Indications of isolated dangers which within the safe waters defined by the safety concord, such as bridge, overhead wires, etc., including buoys and vehicles. Whether or not these are being used as aids to navigations. Next, the standard display. So standard display to be displayed when the charts is first displayed by ECDIS, consisting of first is display based, second is drawing line, the third is indication of peaks and floating aids to navigations, and boundaries of farewells, channels, etc. And also visual and radar relations features, and prohibited and restricted areas, and also charts, scale, boundaries, and lastly is indication of cautionary notes. So that's all.
So good everyone, I am the Cadet Carmelo Tixondo Alonso Jr. For today's video, I am going to discuss about the costume ECDIS, all information, and navigating safety information domain. So for the costume it is the standard display, means the ECNC information that should be shown when a chart is first displayed on ECDIS, and depending upon the needs of the mariners, the level of the information it provides for route planning or route monitoring may be modified by the mariner. And for the all of display of the ECDIS is the ECDIS should be capable of displaying all SANC information available for display during route planning and route monitoring. Should be subdivided into the following three categories, which is the display base and the standard base and all other information. And for the navigating safety domain is we have the This concept of a hydrographic domain is relatively new in the literature and is associated with the ability to interpret the navigation chart contents by an electronic chart system, and if the chart is encoded in the vector format, a simplified form of hydrographic domain, and a safety frame is already implemented in some ECDIS system. That's all for my discussion. Thank you.
Creating ECDIS safety domain. So the ECDIS safety frame, as you can see in the in the picture, it is the example of the safety frame. So it's a feature that offers forewarning of danger. So primarily intended to prevent grounding, but this feature was switched off. So it is an example. So appropriate safety settings are of a paramount importance for ECDIS display. So these settings control how the ECDIS presents depth information, so making it easier to visualize areas of water that are safe for the vessel to navigate in from those which are not. So in the safety contour, it is the most important parameter of all the safety settings for the display of unsafe water areas, detecting isolated dangers and triggering anti-grounding alarms. So the safety contours is basically an outline which marks the division between safe and unsafe waters. So the color blue, as you can see in the picture, so it is used to indicate the unsafe areas, while white or gray are for safe areas. So the default safety contour, if not specified by the mariner, is set to 30 meters. The blue color in a traditional paper chart does not provide a vivid picture of a shallow water. So the depths mentioned in the blue part of a paper chart may be shallower for a deep draft vessel, while safe for a vessel with a smaller draft. So unlike paper charts, ECDIS allow the officer to set safety parameters according to the ship's static or dynamic particulars. The safety contour can be calculated as follows. So it is the formula. Safety contour equals ship's draft plus squat plus UKC minus height of tide. So in this formula, we will calculate the the safety contour or the parameters according to the ship static or dynamic particulars of a ship. So contours are present in the values of 5, 10, 15, 20, and 30, and so on. So if the value set by the mariner is not available among the available depths contours, ECDIS selects the next deepest available contour in the ENC.
The sole purpose of the safety depth is to portray spot soundings either in gray for deeper depths or black for shallower depths, compared to the safety depth value entered by the navigating officer, and thereby highlighting the potentially safe and unsafe areas. The safety depth value has no effects on alarms or any other aspect of ECDIS. Safety depth is normally the ship's draft positive squat. Now, the question is, why do we need to mention safety depth when safety contour can demarcate between safe and unsafe waters? It is also logically to select safety depth equal to safety contour. Some soundings on the shoulder side of the safety contour will be gray because they are deeper and that the only safety depth set by the mariner, although shorter than the safety contour selected by the ECDIS. The depths below safety contour may not always be navigable. Suppose, for example, if safety depth and safety contour are set to 11 meters. Like this will emphasize the depth contour equal or deeper than the selected contour, which say is 20 meters, whichever is available in the ENC. Thus, we can see that water areas with depths between 11 meters to 20 meters are navigable but are below the safety contour. This provides the mariner with additional information where the ship could most safely pass if crossing the safety contour is required. An alarm is still sound. This could provide additional maneuvering room in narrow passages where safe depth exists. So this photo is an example of a safety depth setting. In this type of ECDIS, safety depth is located in chart setting and then depth alarm. So here we can see the shallow contour, safety depth, and depth contour. The shallow contour highlights the gradient of the seabed. It is considered to be the grounding depth. Example, this is the depth below which the ship will definitely go aground. This value can be set equal to the ship's draft. Therefore, if ship's draft is 7.77 meters, shallow contour value can be set as 8 meters. The ECDIS will then display the next depth contour available in the ENC. All of the areas between the 0 meter depth and the shallow contour is therefore navigable and at all and appears hatched. As I have already mentioned earlier, the division between safe and unsafe water is highlighted by the chart coloring, with blue color for indicating unsafe area while white or gray for safe seas. The unsafe area is further defined with the selection of shallow contour, showing dark blue in the shallower water and light blue between the shallow water, and the safety contour when 4 shade display is selected. 2 shade and the 4 shade display is further explained below.
16 shows us the shallow water pointed on like this. We can see the explanation of slide 16 and it's slide 15 and slide 15. So where it says that the shallow contour highlight the gradient of the seabed is considered to be the branding depth of the ship is considered, then the value can be set equal to be the same with the draft of the ship. So if the ship draft is 7.7 and the shallow monitor can be set at 8 meters. So this is the example where the seabed is can be seen. So we also have different kind of other computers. There is the depth water pointer setting. So this is normally set to the voice of the ship draft. However, navigating officer can use depth water contour value the way they want. So with this twice the ship's draft. So if the draft of the ship is 8 times to the deep water contour setting, would mean that it is set at 60 meters. So next slide, the Admiralty information overlay will be discussed by the next reporter.
Admiralty Information Overlay. The AIO is worldwide digital dataset that is designed to be displayed over ENCs in ECDIS and other chart display systems to provide additional information during passage planning. The AIO is refreshed every week as part of the AVC's weekly update and issues on disk and by download. The weekly disk contains the base edition and all the updates to date, so you only need to load the most recent disk on board. A new edition is issued approximately every 2 years after Go weekly updates. And managing temporary information with AIO, TNP, NMS, the UKHO issues a weekly bulletin of temporary and preliminary notice to mariners. PNP NMS, which contains temporary information of navigation interest to mariners using Admiralty paper charts. Mariners are only required to hold notices to mariner for paper charts that are only that on board, like UKHO hydrographic officers around the world issued notices to mariners to update their paper charts. And some countries do not issue PNP NMS, and some do not update their ENCs with temporary information.
EPNMs. EP stands for ENC Preliminary, and NMS highlights navigationally significant differences between ENCs and Admiralty paper charts. These NMS are displayed in the same way as TNP NMS, as a polygon with a hatches view which indicates the area affected by the NM. Each NM is allocated a unique EP and a number and is exclusive to AIO. No overlist feature. Where there is no Admiralty paper chart at equivalent scale to the ENC, UKHO is not available to compare coverage and add additional information. In these areas, the AIO shows a gray hatch polygon labeled No Overlay. Passage planning using AIO. SOLAS Chapter 5 states that all information relevant to the passage should be considered during planning. Appropriate scale, accurate, and up-to-date charts are to be used for the intended passage, as well as any relevant temporary notice to mariners.
Function. Policy of ENC producers. Most producers now include temporary information in their ENCs, and it is received on your vessel as a normal ENC update or new edition. This means that you can see the change of the ECDIS and use the PAC report to obtain more information in the normal way. The ECDIS route assessment tools will automatically assist the temporary information because it appears as standard ENC objects. Your passage plan should be compiled as normal using what you see display on your ECDIS along with the peak reports. Some producers do not describe the information as temporary or preliminary in their ENC. They simply issue updates as required. ECDIS symbology. Periodic end date 27/8/2014. In 2017 version 4.0 of the ECDIS-52 presentation library introduced a D symbol for temporary information. The symbol is displayed when the ENC producer codes a feature with time-based attributes such as start or end date. It can be used for seasonal buoys, traffic, separation schemes, etc. Date independent features display according to the date set on your ECDIS. Therefore, it is advisable to plan your route with the ECDIS set to the dates of the intended passage. Using AIO. You should have AIO active on your ECDIS screen during passage planning. Use the ENCs and route checking in the normal way. Noting any features that are described in the peak report as being temporary. Check your route with the ECDIS date set the planned passage time. You may see colored polygons that are associated with Admiralty paper T&P NMS issued by the UKHO. The T&P will be giving you additional information that is not already included in your ENCS. You should then open the text of the notice using the ECDIS peak report to assist and include the information in your passage plan as necessary.
Admiralty paper, T&P, NMS are not issued as corrections to electronic charts. Audit and compliance inspections require you to demonstrate that you are working with the latest ENC updates for your passage plan. You are also required to demonstrate that you have a system in place to reasonably obtain and assess temporary information. Temporary information for digital navigation can be obtained from 1. The information included in the ENC. 2. Extra information in AIO that may not be included in ENCs where there is equivalent coverage by Admiralty paper charts. 3. Other sources on board such as navtext. 4. Local authorities such as agents or port authorities where the information is included in the ENC. You do not need to assess paper charts notices as part of their passage plan unless you are navigating with paper charts. In navigating ECDIS Admiralty Information Overlay, 1. Go to Navisailor, then click Overlays tab and AIO Charts tab. Number 2. Click Show IAO to display IAO Overlay. 3. Click on the IAO layer control to the filter.IAO objects information. To view AIO data, you see the eye icon on the right side of the picture that was highlighted. Click eye icon at the toolbar to query the ENC peak report. Number 2. Click on the display EIO polygon box and peak report window will appear. You will see area on ENC where UKHO has published a preliminary notice to Mariner area. Number 4. Click highlight to identify the AIO area. 5. At Info tab, view AIO information such as ENC affected supporting textual information and attach text or picture file references. Click on the file to view the information in details.